This video is going to discuss all God Roll weapons from the Call to Arms event, which there are exactly 7. Remember, it's FOMO, fear of missing out. If you're lacking some of these rolls, you might be at a disadvantage next month in Renegades drop. You've got to be very patient with yourself. Watch the video in its entirety to future-proof yourselves so that you are on board with the God Rolls. This video is backed behind science, research, and over 10 years worth of solo gameplay. I have over 10 years worth of experience in both D1 and D2. I understand what I'm talking about with these God Rolls, so just get it locked in. Look, you messed up last time. Let's have 5 seconds of silence for all those players that deleted Festival Flight last summer. Yeah, it was a sad day. You lot who deleted that, you locked yourself out of that weapon for 12 months by just making one mistake, by deleting a weapon that you shouldn't have done. So, having that context, you need to make sure that some of these weapons I recommend to you that you keep hold of, and the other ones you delete that are not the rolls that I'm mentioning. I'm going to break down all 7 weapons and the God Rolls, and like I say, the reasons behind it. Not every weapon is that important, but some of them are really important. A couple of players are asking, before we get into the video, a couple of players are asking about Nasty Town. What is Nasty Town and how do we get to Nasty Town? Image on screen will show you what Nasty Town looks like. How you get to Nasty Town is you need to go to Hogwarts train station, right? You need to go through that invis wall like Harry Potter does. Go through that wall or whatever. Get on the train station, right? And you're going to take a left turn at Albuquerque. That's just on the outskirts of Hogwarts University, or Eager Edge University in my world. And you're going to approach Nasty Town. It's a town full of nastiness. It's a town full of nastiness, solo DPS and solo DPS practices. We put champions in body bags, and that's where they go, into Nasty Town. I've got Nightmare Galran in there as well. You can see him. I locked him into Nasty Town because I saw what he was doing to Guardians, limiting their use of trying to get tier 5 gear off him solo, and I put him right. If there's any future bosses that threaten you and your journey to get tier 5 loot, they go into Nasty Town. It's a town full of nastiness. There you go. That's a presentation of what it is and how you get there. So like I say, we're going to discuss these God Roll weapons. I'll do it one by one and literally the reasons behind each. First God Roll weapon review, that being a strand trace rifle called Ribbontail. Now, we are not in any sort of trace rifle meta at the moment, and trace rifles are not used for like sustained DPS against a boss. They're not good champion killers. They're very good on ad clear and for double special weapon builds. So disclaimer is first and foremost, we're not in any sort of trace rifle meta, lads. Trace rifles don't hit hard enough. The special weapons ones, they're not competitive against other special weapons like Choir of One and such, and many other special weapons that we can think of. Original GLs and all sorts of other things, right? However, I would still recommend you lock in a roll if Bungie ever buffs trace rifles to the point where we use them in day 1 content, right? And that's what we're going to talk about, right? So, my God Roll is Subsistence Detonator Beam. Detonator Beam, dealing sustained damage, creates a explosion trigger. And this procs quite frequently over the course of 1 mag. It is overall the best perk that I like in endgame content. However, there are some other notable mentions that you could use on this trace rifle. In this column, Envious Arsenal is to be considered because of the ammo generation. So I'm not really arguing with you to say that Envious Arsenal is better or worse than Subsistence. Subsistence is better for overall use of the weapon on ad clear, but Envious Arsenal is also very, very good because of that ammo generation stat. I would say have both. Have both, right? They're both as good as each other for different reasons. Surrounded hits hard on Ribbontail, and I'll show you some footage of that. But it's very niche. It's too niche on this, and it's not suited to the weapon at all. Detonator Beam is far more suited. Kill and Tally is an extremely good perk as well. The problem with Kill and Tally is when you store the weapon, you lose the buff. When you reload the weapon, you lose the buff. And that's bad about Kill and Tally. So it has got a weakness. Yeah. Other trace rifles I've got on me, let's just have a look and why that is. Right, so obviously I've got envious detonator here again. I'm just seeing why. This is why. There's a reason why I've got all these weapons. Redirection doesn't work on the trace rifle like you think. And because of how fast fire it is, you lose redirection so quick that it's just pointless to even consider it. I wouldn't even consider redirection on this. But yeah, just solidifying the fact, envious arsenal, detonator beam. You know, there's other perks on it. But the point of the matter is, I mean, this is why we've got this tear. I tried tear. It's actually not good. Some people were telling me tear is good on Ribbontail. It's not. I've tried it. So I don't recommend tear at all on it. Detonator beam just does... It does add clear and it does half decent sustained damage against a champ or something. Because you might do damage against an orange bar. Let's not overlook the fact that you might do damage against an orange bar, right? So that's what we're discussing. Obviously, these mods are going to end the Season 27. Now, I've got Temporal Blast in some of them. But these mods are going to go away. Remember that. They are going to go away. So what damage does it actually do with Detonator Beam, right? So we're in base shooting hall here. Base 10 power shooting hall because all my weapons are different power level, right? So let's just do one mag. Let's just see, right? So Detonator Beam, he's proccing quite a bit. Yeah? Look at the stun lock. You see the unique stun lock? It's got stun lock. Yeah? 4727 with Detonator Beam for one course of a mag. Now then, it is competing with weapons like Choir of One, and you can use it in combination with Choir of One for sure, but I'm just explaining to you that like trace rifles are nowhere near like weapons like Choir of One. If we just do ADS damage here, right, it's going to, after one mag, it's going to do way more damage and more DPS than a trace rifle would ever do. The only good trace rifles are heavy ones and such. I'm just explaining to you that, yeah, you know, they're just not doing the damage. But you still want to pick the cream of the crop. The cream of the crop is a Detonator Beam 1, right? We can show you surrounded. So if I just spawn in some single targets. We have to spawn in 3, you see, to get it to work. And surrounded can keep up with Choir. Let's just see what the damage it does now here, because I can't remember what it was. Let's just see. So we haven't got surrounded to proc yet. Hang on a minute. Reset that. See what I mean? See how niche it is? I'm already showing you how niche it is, look. Surrounded is procced. Okay, 45s now. Let's just see the damage after a mag. Just approximation, that's it. Right? So the damage is picked up quite considerably. Right? So if we go back to Choir, right, and just see what the damage is now on a mag or whatever, you'll see that basically even then, you know, look, you know, it's just not worth it on that basis. And not to mention, you know, Choir's got the hip fire, which, you know, blows DPS. It blows it out the water for DPS. Look at that. So I'm just showing you that even if you spec for like a surrounded Ribbontail, it wouldn't be worth it. So you would still just, the conclusion is just to go to Detonator Beam. That is just the conclusion, right? Now, I'm not running any artifact mods for this, okay? I'm not running any artifact mods because those are going away. They're going away in a week. There is perks like Fairy Proliferation that help this weapon out, but that's not going to be existing. But that's why you go Subsistence Luck. I don't know, I haven't got it equipped. That Envy is still on. So you would still use, look, see the reload? It's just the way to go. And Detonator Beam, he's going to work on your champions and stuff like that. So it just really isn't worth to be using it on other things. So we've just spawned in a champion here a sec as well. I guess we'll get Radiant because it's a barrier or whatever, just to see what damage it does against the champion. Yeah, I mean, this is a base champ, so I wouldn't take too much info from that. On minus 30, it does start to struggle on sustained damage, right? But that is the information on that. Let me just cover the mags. So ionized battery, right? Watch this reload. I've got no loaders on. No loaders on. Look at the reload. Visually look at it. Did you see the reload? Didn't seem too bad, did it? Now we go light battery. Animate. Look at that. It's slightly quicker. I would say you probably still should go light battery. But man, there's barely any difference on the reload on this. I mean, ionized battery, I guess, just is not worth it. You would just go light battery because it's literally a few bullets left, a few lasers left, or whatever you would call it, right, for the trace rifle. But I'm just seeing if I've covered... Yeah, I've basically covered everything. So, long story short with this, detonator beam, kill and tally with sub or envious arsenal. The barrels and all that, and the mags don't even impact the gun that much. Masterworks, look, I mean, you go for Masterwork reload if you're going to pump me down to it, but again, it wouldn't matter all that much. As long as you got the traits, right, that I've mentioned, then you're good to go. Tenacity is a 10% damage bonus, so it's got that going for it. But yeah, that is the god roll for the Ribbontail. Okay, next up is a stasis shotgun called Trachinus. Now then, Bungie has stated in a weapon insight that rapid fire frame shotguns will get a base 2.5% damage bonus at base. That change hasn't gone through yet, but I just thought that I would mention it. There's a couple of bugs with Trachinus. Number one, Fire Stinger still is not working with the weapon, yeah, and Assault Mag is still granting a 50 RPM, and Bungie has not addressed this yet. It's meant to be only 5 RPM, but it's still 50. I can only go with how it is in the game now, and it all needs to be retested when Renegades comes out. I hope you understand that. I'm just asking you to lock in a roll, and you would still just go with Assault Mag anyways, because you can never exceed an 8-round mag, like even if you put backup mag in stuff. So you still just go with Assault Mag, really, to be honest with you. So, yeah, barrels, we don't need to really discuss barrels. We're just talking mag and traits. Rhyme Steel, Chill Clip, obviously synergizing, so we'll show you that. But we're going to show you a difference between Assault Mag and non-Assault Mag right now, right? Obviously, Chill Clip roll. So just let me just show you. Look at the rate of fire. Look at the rate of fire. 5k damage, right? What was that DPS? Whatever, 19. So now let me show you without the Assault Mag. Let's just reset this guy here, the scoreboard, and you'll see the difference. Look at the rate of fire. Yeah, it's just overall worse. Remember, we're comparing tier 5 to tier 4 there. This tier 4 will be upgradable to tier 5 in Renegades, remember. I'm just explaining to you that there's a massive difference between rate of fire between non-Assault Mag and Assault Mag. So, yeah. Number 1 rule, Assault Mag, Rhyme Stealer, Chill Clip. Yeah? And then the next rule that you do want, I would lock in just in case we ever do get back to a rapid fire frame shotgun meta or whatever, would be a... That's it, that's the rule there. Rapid hit plus precision instrument. I believe we've got Assault Mag on it as well. Yeah, because this will just do more damage, right? You'll just end up doing more damage because of precision hit and what have you. Look, yeah, you'll just end up doing more DPS in that sense. So yeah, rapid hit, precision instrument, and a chill clip roll. Let's just show you what that's like on a champion basis. So yeah, we'll just spawn in a overload champion or whatever. We'll get a which one is it? Get down the Assault Mag. It is nice on overloads, but that's really what all it is. That's all it really is nice on, right? Let's just spawn in an overload here. Chill Clip will always stun the overloads. It'll always stun them. So they're going to go down pretty quick. But obviously this is, you know, a lower power level champion and what have you. And at these ultimate difficulties, the shotgun does start to lag. I'm just thinking if there's anything else that we want to really discuss about this. No, not really. It's obviously a disappointing archetype at the minute, and it needs buff further than 2.5. I would still have one in your vault. You're going to have 1,000 vault spaces, so you can hold a damn 1 or 2 shotguns. Don't have none, because if you're without, your pants are down and you haven't got the weapon, and if it ends up being good in the future, then you're going to struggle. I would just keep one. I would keep 2 rolls, precision instrument and a chill clip rhyme stealer roll, and that's really all there is to know about it, really. Nothing else. Next up, we have Phoneutria Fera, probably the most important weapon from this event, apart from Eager Edge Syanceia, which I assume you've already got that anyways. This is literally one of the most important weapons, and you're going to suffer without it. The God roll, for me, right, Again, barrels, we're not really discussing barrels, it's just magazines. Either alloy mag or flared mag. Well, I've got alloy mag and I'm not really bothered about that. The reason being is because of column 1, I've got Threat Remover. Threat Remover is a 60 reload stat. Threat Detector at max stacks is also a 60 reload stat with other benefits. However, Threat Remover is a better proc than Threat Detector because it can proc on a single target. This is very important to understand. Now then, a lot of you are going to go procs power. I'm going to show you why. You can go procs power, but look at what happens to the reload. Look at that reload. And you're going to say, well, run a loader. You can't run loaders nowadays as much because you've got fonts to consider, heavy-handed firepower, so it's better to have a reload on the gun for this gun. Procs power is a very good one, though. There's no doubt about it. It adds a lot of melee stat bonus to melee builds, right? And we are in a melee-centric meta at the minute, and this weapon just enhances all of that, and it's a damn primary. Yeah, so if we do apply Threat Remover, you'll see it's very easy to hit your barrels. Look, boom, Threat Remover procs. Look at the reload difference. Look at the reload difference. That's massive for moment-to-moment gameplay. You can run things like Slide Shot as well. I think Threat Remover is better than Slide Shot, if I'm being honest, though. For overall gameplay, it is. Column 2, 1-2 punch, right? It's incredible. It enhances melee damage, and we're going to be approaching a melee meta, right? So we can get 1-2 punch to keep proccing, right? We can keep doing that, right? It's incredible, and it works with Song of Flame as well. So that for me is the golden standard. Swashbuckler is also nice. Being able to get a ×5 stack off 1 melee kill is incredible. Surrounded is also very good. I'll show you why it's very good in a minute. You need a mini sunshot roll with incandescent. You might think that you don't, but you do. Because if you're not on a melee-centric build, which might happen, you know, then a mini sunshot version of this weapon is very good. I'll show you why that is. It really is. It really, really, really is. I wouldn't just say that for no reason. But yeah, that's literally all the rules that I'm just thinking. We've got Binary Orbit here. I just don't like the trait. There's some people that like it. I don't. But yeah, Threat Remover with a 1-2 punch roll. Swashbuckler surrounded, right? That's what we're looking at. So as I've just shown you the damage it does incredible damage. It'll just one-shot all red bars, orange bars, right? It's an end-game hand cannon, this. That's exactly what it is, right? Just the amount of damage it does up close. It's matching literally Quiet of One, right? If we just show you that. So if we just show you that right now, I think this is the most important thing to take. This is one of the most important things. So we get surrounded to proc, right? 875, 875. Boom, put on Quiet. I've got special big here. Let's see what Quiet crit does. Just ADS. Look at that. Look at the amount of damage. A damn surrounded phone. A Phoneutria. That's incredible damage. Don't you understand? This is literally a meta hand cannon. Remember, Tenacity is a 10% damage bonus as well. Even when the mods go, it won't matter. Phoneutria and the Trials hand cannon, shotgun hand cannon is also very important to the game. So it's extremely important that you take away that you get some sort of Threat Remover, 1-2 punch shotgun, hand cannon shotgun. A surrounded one is also very good. An incandescent one is also very good. And that's really just explaining to you how damn powerful Phoneutria really is. And yeah, it is. Let me just show you a bit more damage, I guess, before we move on to the next weapon, just so I sell you it a bit more. Doing incredible damage against champions, VIPs, all that sort of stuff, right? I mean, that's no surrounded. It's doing incredible damage. Incredible damage against VIPs and stuff, right? It's for melee-centric builds. Prismatic melee builds, Hammer Bonk, Titan, all that sort of stuff, man. It's doing incredible damage. It really is. And if, like I say, with Surrounded, let's just get... Surrounded's a bit more niche, but it will proc more because you're up close. So it's going to do massive damage, this. Phoneutria is so powerful. If the new dungeon is very hard dense and I'm on a melee-based build, I will be using Phoneutria in the Equilibrium new dungeon. That's how meta this hand cannon is. You really need to dial in a roll for this, a god roll that is. But yeah, that's the god roll for that. Okay, so the god roll for Romantic Death, this is going to be short and sweet. The god roll is Repulsor Brace, Destabilizing Rounds. This is going to keep proc and Overshield for damage resist. Velocities to be considered on these weapons. I always go with quick launch or hard launch. Yeah, in the first trait, in the first barrel option or what have you. And you can rock high velocity rounds, impulsion rounds. There's only 2 options. I just go with high velocity all the time. It's got aggregate charge on, and aggregate charge does good damage. If Bungie ever buffs Waveframe grenade launchers to do more damage, then we can consider it. But right now, it's just D-stab. Yeah, it's just D-stab. So if we just make these adds aggro a second and just show you the add clear potential of this, and you keep getting overshield. It is very powerful. Okay, there we go. Look at that overshield. Look at the add clear it's doing. So I want you to to visually remember what damage that was doing, because on add clear purpose. Because if we go to chain reaction instead, now chain reaction is not going to set off the overshield. Yeah, and chain reaction is a OG add clear trait, but D-stab is just better because it's giving you overshield. Now look at the add clear. It's very similar to D-stab. Very, very similar. Yeah. Do you see what I'm saying? This is what I'm trying to explain. Chain reaction, it gives you more ammo, yeah, but who cares on that? You want that overshield, so I'm just proving to you that D-stab is much more powerful because it procs an overshield, and overshield is DI. In endgame, you would use it. I have soloed Luminality with this grenade launcher. If there's any void shields, and lots of them, Romantic Death goes hard. We are not in a Waveframe GL meta, but I would definitely lock down a roll because I'm suspicious that Bungie will buff Waveframe GLs at some point. They are fully aware that Area Denial GLs are better than these, but you're going to be without this GL if they ever do, and we could end up being in that type of meta where it's a Waveframe GL. Lock down a damn Repulsor, D-stab, high velocity, Romantic Death. It's short and sweet for that one. On with the next one. God roll. These are the rolls that you want. It is literally an eager edge tool in the game. You want eager edge, attrition orbs. Swordmaster's Guard is favourable. Edges, up to you. You've got honed edge, jagged edge, all that stuff. Honestly, the edges don't matter all that much. I mean, if you run hungry edge, you get more eager edge. So you can look at it like that. Yeah, so run hungry edge, but there is jagged edge and honed edge that does more damage. But only a little bit more, right? You're not really using Syanceia as a DPS tool. You just are not doing that. I do have Burning Ambition Attrition Orbs as well, but it's not that good on the sword, if I'm being honest. If I was going to sword a boss, I would not use Syanceia for that. Syanceia is better. It's a Waveframe sword, don't forget. It's better as an eager edge tool. That's all you would ever use it for. Don't worry about chain reaction and all that stuff. Yeah, but it is key to note you want Sharp Harvest. Make sure you got a Sharp Harvest eager edge roll, because Sharp Harvest is very good in endgame content for getting more special ammo. A lot of you say like, oh, I want to spec for ammo generation. I want to use chain reaction for ammo generation. Listen, a perk like Sharp Harvest will break the ammo economy so that you get lots of special weapon ammo. Sharp Harvest was critical to my leveling processes, getting from power 10 to 550. I got to 450 before most of you did, if you remember. And that was a large contribution to that factor was Sharp Harvest. Yeah, I was rocking activities with no starting ammo and using Sharp Harvest to get special ammo for Mint Retrograde and new Malpies. Sharp Harvest is incredible, lads. Make sure you got a Sharp Harvest eager edge roll. Remember, Swordmaster's Guard's the best guard that you can use. And honestly, edges, it doesn't matter all that much. It's really straight down the line. Syanceia is just an eager edge tool. When have you last used a surrounded sword? Yeah, it's here and there. If you want to lock down a surrounded sword, well, then I've got it here, haven't I? I've got Attrition Orb surrounded, right? For example, to get weapon surges and surrounded. So if we've got it, we want it. But ultimately, it is a eager edge tool. It's short and sweet for this. On with the next god roll. Roll for Submersion Combat Bow. I have done a massive breakdown video of this bow. I'm going to link down that video down below. I'm not going to retest it again because I've done all my tests with it. This is just a short version of saying what the god roll is. I went into the reasons why it was. If you missed that god roll video for Submersion, please go and watch it then. You need to. It's critical. Because I'm only going to explain it in short format for you. This is the roll that you want. Autoload holster, chill clip with charge bolts, which are DOT bolts and heavy bolts. Heavy bolts does a lot of DPS because heavy bolts shatters chill clip. So you'll keep shattering frozen targets because of heavy bolts, right? So there's a lot to be said for that. Charge bolts offers DOT and synergizes with speed loader slack hunters, and it does a lot of synergize with chill clip and such. Charge bolts and heavy bolts are overwhelmingly the best bolts you can have on this. Please do not be that guy that rocks serrated bolts or explosive bolts. All of that stuff is trash. I've already tested it all for you. The persistence stat is the most important stat on the crossbow. You want to make sure that you got persistence master. I suppose this one hasn't, but I'm saved because I've got empowered rail. Empowered rail is the best rail on this. If you're not using empowered rail, then use quick load rail. I don't think I've got that on this. I've got ultra light rail. The other rail is quick load rail. It adds a quick load on it. I've already done all my tests on this. Now then, the next thing is collective action for Stasis Titan users is nice. I've showed you that gameplay footage. On Stasis Shard pickup, you get a free buff with collective action. An aggregate charge is incredible. This crossbow hits harder than Sleeper Simulant at times 3 aggregate charges, which is very easy to pull off with buddy builds on Warlock and other builds as such. Aggregate charge, you want to lock down an aggregate charge submersion roll. We've already proved this. Impulse amplifier is very good on this as well. Oil on also is important because you can do 2 shots with speed loader slack builds. I've showed you many times. I think this is just a simplified version of me telling you what the god roll is for submersion. Do not be trying to do spawn scavenger stuff. Don't be trying to do serrated scavenger or spring auger bolts. All that stuff is trash. I've already tested it all. This is the god roll for the crossbow. If you're using explosive bolts, you are throwing. I'm sorry, my friend. And we move on. Okay, and I've saved the worst weapon for last. I still want to include it because I want the video to be complete and total. We never know what Bungie will do in the future. That's the thing. So I have locked in 2 rules for Folded Root, which is a aggressive frame void rocket launcher. The Folded Root has direct competition with another rocket launcher called Haliatus, a strand rocket launcher which is high impact frame. To note, that is a quick, faster fire rate, the RPM's faster, and you get 2 extra more rockets. Haliatus gets more rockets. We're not including bipod on that configuration. Although even with bipod it gets more because of its frame. So high impact frames overall seeming a little bit better on this basis at least with Folded Root. Right? Now then, there is an important thing with Folded Root though. Haliatus does not get the role cluster bombs and lasting impression, which I do like. I do think it's kind of fun. I think it's kind of fun with the cluster bombs and lasting impression. So what ends up happening is you shoot a rocket. The cluster bombs don't actually detonate until the lasting impression detonates. And then you get like this double detonation thing going on. Yeah. Now, you can go ad clear with the rocket, but it's never in my playstyle to ever go ad clear rocket. I never run ad clear rockets. The only ad clear rocket that I ever really run is Galahorn. Galahorn for ad clears, yes, fair enough. But Folded Root or like legendary rockets, I use it for damage purposes. I never use chain reaction rockets. I think you throw them when you do stuff like that. There are much better options for ad clear than a rocket launcher, for God's sake, lads. Not to mention, Tenacity is a 10% damage bonus. So Folded Roots gets a extra 10% damage bonus over Haliatus. However, Haliatus has a far better origin trait, Bray Legacy, giving you ability energy to the least charge you have. This allows for very unique gameplay, and Haliatus is far better than Folded Root. So that disclaimer's out the road. Do we now understand that I'm fully acknowledging Haliatus is far better than Folded Root? However, we've got this roll, so let's just see what the damage he does with times 20 Tenacity. I'm not running any loaders. The most damage you can do with Folded Root is with impact casings. It adds 2% increased damage. Cluster bombs is RNG damage. That's the only thing. There's a little bit of RNG every time we do this. And I am doing it live, so we'll see what damage we do. Air Trigger's nice, but Air Trigger got nerfed. It's gotten nerfed. It used to give more ammo, like on reserves and stuff. Now it gives a lot of ammo generation. It's getting nerfed. So I don't even recommend Air Trigger. Cluster bombs is just more damage than what it's more total damage. You might get more DBS with Air Trigger or what have you. But I'm not even recommending the roll because of the nerfs that's coming up with it. So cluster bombs is definitely the way to go. Like I say, and lasting impression is the highest damage buff in the second column for Folded Root. Let's just see what the damage it can do. I am going to use a 1 Radiant melee because I'm going to do that for the Haliotis comparison. So we'll do 1 Arcane Needle. We're allowing for that because on the next comparison, I am going to use Aggregate Charge on Haliotis. I hope you understand that. Right, so we're going to start with a Radiant melee Arcane Needle. And we're just going to fire our rockets and just watch the detonation damage. See how it detonates cluster bombs as the lasting impression detonates. I think that's quite cool. I do like that. This is probably the only real rule that I like on the rocket. Right, but let's just see what the DPS is and the total damage. That's with tenacity times 20. That's with tenacity times 20. So what's the damage come up at? 30. Ooh, nice. Nice. 32,033. 32 we'll call it because Arcane Needle's ticking up. And 1,000 DPS. Let's just round it out, right? This isn't factual numbers. This is just more visual representation, right? So we'll have to spawn him again because he is going to be triggered by... We'll have to spawn him. We'll have to do it like this. He's going to be triggered by Arcane Needle. Now, the next rule I'm recommending on this is bipod cluster bombs. This is the role from the Call to Arms event track reward. So if we just come to it, I actually recommend you pick it up. Where's it at? It's at rank 15. It's got alloy casing on it. It's actually a nice rule. It's more for combatant gameplay. It's more for combatant gameplay for GMs, Grandmasters, old school Grandmasters, because we are getting them back, of course. Right. I've lost tenacity. So you're just going to have to bear with me. I'm not farming that up again. I hate that why have we lost tenacity? I don't know. But yeah, this is the playback loop of this roll. Cluster bombs bipod. We're getting nice quick reloads. That's no loader. Yeah. Let's just see what damage it does. You can just envisage 10% or more, right? I'm not going to farm tenacity times 20 up again for this test. Yeah, we should be firing 2 rockets at a time. But you see the point. We're getting much more rockets with bipod as well. This is more of a utility rocket in my eyes. More utility based. More for taking out champions and stuff. And I have used bipod rockets in GMs. I have used them and they are good. I do like them for that. So the damage is reasonable. 28,000 almost. You're nearly matching. We're nearly matching the cluster bomb. I mean, cluster bomb last impression is more damage. So you can see how this roll holds up, you know. This roll really holds up. By the way, I didn't use Temporal Blast for anything because Temporal Blast is getting sunset. So we're not using it for these tests. So do you see now, fully root, but the problem with that is that Haliotis has cluster bomb bipod. I've got it in the... Have I got it on this? I've got it here, look. Haliotis has this roll anyways. So do you see... With the folded root, the only reason really to use it, if you was to, is because of lasting impression in clusters. Now let's really show you with the Haliotis. We're not talking about Braytech today. We've already talked about that in the past and what it does. We're talking more about the cluster bomb's aggregate charge roll, right? It has got elemental honing as well, but we can't test every single rocket launcher in the game, right? I hope you understand that. So we're getting an extra 2 rockets, look. Because the high impact frame, you're getting 2 rockets over folded root. It's really hard to justify folded root when it's like this. I actually don't like that high impacts get more rockets. I don't like it that much, man. I don't. So remember, it was like 30k, 1,000 DPS or whatever, right? Casually doing it. We're going to show you with aggregate times 3. We have to include some turrets to get and achieve the aggregate. There's many ways of achieving aggregate charge, but just watch this DPS, right? Comparing that to what we just done with folded root. Okay, so we'll get a stasis turret down, a arcane needle, a helion, and now we're just going to go to town. Aggregate charge times 3, look. Just rocket, 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 rocket. I'm not going to fully optimize it. I'm just showing you how much better it is. I'm going to fire all 11 rockets. Okay. That's clusters aggregate. Nice rocket this. I would actually use this in things. I actually really like this rocket. Look, aggregate still times 3. Still times 3. It dips down to times 2. And now, yeah, see how it dips? But that's okay. 33% damage bonus this. Huge damage bonus. There's many other reasons to use Alliators other than this. But let's just see what it was. Look at that, man. Man, it's own unfolded root. I don't need to say much more, do I? Yeah, it really is owning it. Piece of information to take away, make sure you get a good Haliotis then, I guess. There's many roles, but Cluster Bombs has the unique interaction with Bray Legacy. You can do Cluster Bipod, that's very good as well. I like Aggregate Charge though, I like a bit of a damage bonus on my rockets. Depends what I'm doing. If I'm up against a dungeon boss, Aggregate Charge, Elemental Honing. If I'm doing Grandmaster Nightfalls, like the old school ones that we're going to get, then Bipod, yes. Do you see what we're saying there with that? So that's my overall take on Foley Route. You only want 2 rolls on it, and even if you don't get a roll on it, it's not the end of the world. It has got a unique perk combo with the clusters and last impression. We'll give it that at the very least, but Haliotis outclasses it in every shape and form, doesn't it? That's the God Roll reviews for every single weapon. Have the patience to make sure you've watched the entire video and that you can clean your vault efficiently and play the video while you're cleaning your vault. Yeah, that's probably the best way to consume the content. But every single breath I've took in this video is just about covered as best as I can to do to help you. Whether the video is long format or not, I don't care. That's what I specialize in, and that's what I'm committing to. I don't care about short format content. I don't care about YouTube shorts, and there's many reasons why I don't care about it. I care about long format content, and that's what I'm going to commit to as well for Renegades. It's all going to be long format stuff. Hope you enjoy. Thank you.